SlapFight Championship 35 Onslaught just took place, and this was a fantastic card. Definitely above the expectations that were given to this card, because there was a lot of new talent and not that many notable names, but the fights delivered. Almost every single fight delivered, and it was just full of so many highlights, and I called the card perfectly. I went undefeated on my picks. I picked every single fight. I basically called everything that was gonna happen, and it happened. So I'm very proud of my predictions, and I'm gonna review the whole card from the bottom to the top. We're gonna start off with lightweight bout between two guys that made their debut, Firecracker and Extinguisher, and they looked very good. Firecracker looked very promising. I think we can look forward to this guy's future. It could be at the top 5, top 3 level. He has some power. He doesn't have a lot of power, but he does have some good slaps for a beginner. And Extinguisher didn't look bad. I would love to see him in the future, but he did have a ear injury with the hearing, so I hope there's no permanent damage and he can continue. Because retiring to injuries is a sad thing, and I hope he doesn't have to retire after his first fight. But Firecracker, he's a good character. He looks intense. He has a wild technique and a very effective technique. Down in the Team Biscuit, they have so many crazy techniques and everything, and I think it's very good for Firecracker. And Extinguisher didn't look bad, but Firecracker, I think him versus Mallet looks like a very good match in my opinion, and I think it's a beatable match for both of them. I think both have a good chance of beating each other, and Mallet was in the corner of Extinguisher. The fight should be made next. I think that will be a cool fight, but Firecracker had a very good performance. We're moving down to the middleweight division. Classic Lizard made his debut against the veteran SlapKage, and this wasn't a very long fight, but it was a good fight. SlapKage finally shows his full potential, that he has power, he has a good chin, he has Classic Lizard didn't really land some good strikes, so the chin part, he didn't really have to show anything, but we know he has a good chin, and finally he wins. I am very happy that he won. He looked very happy. He was 0-4. He probably saved his career, and he had a very impressive KO, brutal KO. It didn't look that bad. But then, Lizard didn't recover well, and they called it, and probably a right decision. SlapKage, he's been so unfortunate with his fouls, and he said it. That was the reason he lost his fights before that. But this time around, he finally got his first victory with a huge knockout. So I know he's a top 5 caliber. I think he's been a top 5 caliber for a long time, and he proved it in his last 2 fights, but he has been just a little bit unfortunate with his fouls. But this time around, he showed up and he got his first victory. Also, Classic Lizard, I don't know, maybe this could be like I don't see him making much in this division. He looked very average for a debut. This wasn't like a FPS debut. It also wasn't like a Biobastard debut. He just looked mid and then got knocked out. So I am still excited about his future, but not a good debut at all. We're moving on to the welterweight bout. This fight was a This one was a good one. This one was a banger. This fight is such a brutal fight. First of all, they both landed some very good slaps, and both got rocked, both got wobbled, and then in the sixth round, FPS. I said it in the build-up. I said FPS has a very sharp slap and very powerful sharp slap. And the first minute I saw Concrete Finisher's face swell up, I was telling, this could be like a Bio Bastard situation where his face just started blowing up so bad, and then and one of those slaps just cracked something open, and Finisher immediately started bleeding. That was worse. That was more brutal than the Ricky one. I don't think the injury was as bad, but the way the blood immediately came out, that was, I think, a lot more brutal in a way. And everyone was covered in blood, and it was just chaos. Brutal, disgusting fight, but man, it was a good fight. Probably a fight of the year, if not the fight of the past few years. This was not that good, but it was a fight of the year contender, 100%, and it was a good fight. But sadly, Concrete, I mean, this is the fourth loss in a row. It's not looking good. His face, he's just got a brutal injury. Before that, nothing really. I mean, he didn't took any damage against Biscuit, but he got KO'd by D-Flan, and it's just not looking the best for Finisher right now. But I hope he could come back better. But FPS has a real good potential, man. This guy could end up as a champion. I wouldn't be surprised. Give this man 2 more fights and he's championship material, I would say. And I see a lot of good stuff happening with FPS. You know, he made he's kind of like a tall version of Front, in a way that he has these sharp slaps, and he just cuts open everybody and just continues to cut his way into the victories. But I think FPS would get smoked by Raven, though. That's something I would see happening right now. Down to the lightweight division. Smiley moved up to the lightweight to take on Black Larry. Now, I think that was a huge mistake by Smiley. Like, I don't know if he was, I don't know if he wanted to take this fight or not. Because if he wanted to take this fight, it was a huge fight IQ mistake. Because, I mean, we have seen, you know, in the past how Mallet wanted to move up to lightweight, and you know how that happened, and size does matter in this sport, and that's just, you just got to see this. Black Larry is usually a point fighter. He doesn't get finishes, but I was calling the first round knockout because I knew it was gonna happen, because there's a huge difference between a flyweight featherweight guy and a lightweight guy. You know, Black Larry's, he does have some power. He has enough power to KO like a flyweight. So obviously this was a luck of the card, and Larry looked good. This was such a brutal KO. If you haven't seen it, you have to see it, because it could be, I mean, 100% it's the KO of the year. And I don't know if he's alright, but man, that was a huge KO. He's in a bad situation, you know, he's 3 losses in a row. Now a brutal KO loss, you know, his other ones were knockdowns, multiple knockdown losses. He's taken so much damage in this year, and yeah, he kind of needs to win the next one, or, you know, he's in a bad place. But Larry deserves a title shot. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Raven thing and the main event, but I think Black Lyric deserves a title shot next against whoever it could be, and I think it could be like an outlaw or somebody. He could prove that he isn't what he used to be when he lost to the outlaw. But yeah, flyweight is not as good as the lightweight division. It's still a growing division, and Larry has a lot more power than I thought. And Smiley also. Not only does Smiley look like Raul Rosas Jr. a little bit, he also sounds very much like Raul Rosas Jr. That's one thing I remember. But yeah, maybe a secret brother of the Mexican youngster. Moving on to Cowboy versus Grizzly at super heavyweight, and man, I was excited for this fight. This was, I think, probably out of all the fights, this was the most, well, not boring, but most un, yeah, most uneventful fight, where Grizzly absolutely dominated with 0 fouls. This is not something I knew. Grizzly was improved, but I didn't expect him to look so clean and so powerful. Because Cowboy, he ain't what I thought he was at first. I mean, it is his debut. Yeah, he can learn from this, but Grizzly made him look like he was a nobody. Huge win for Grizzly. Tough fight for Cowboy. Grizzly is not easy to face in his debut, and respect for Cowboy for staying in the fight, because he looked like he did want to be there, and honestly his power kinda offensively he didn't impress me at all. But Grizzly, huge power and huge chin. He should go up against the Maniac in a rematch, because that would be a good call. I wanted him to call out the Maniac, but Grizzly's too humble for that. I think it would have been a good. He should have called out the Maniac. That would have been such a good promo, but it is what it is. I think he's gonna have a war with Tim if they fight, and I think it's a 50-50 fight where they both gonna eat their shots and don't make as much fouls as before. I think we should write that fight right this time. And Grizzly has massively improved. That just shows how much taking your time off and training is crucial to the winning process. Just like Demon and other guys like Biscuit and Shamokin taking a year off and then coming back to win. It's a crucial thing. But Cowboy, he needs to improve now and come back better. And finally, the title match, Wildman versus Raven, a lot on the line, the title on the line, Raven's GOAT status on the line. This was a complete domination from Raven, knocked Wildman down 2 times, and Wildman got knocked out in the last one. Brutal KO loss again. If there was no Black Larry, this would be the KO of the night, but that KO was just too brutal. Wildman, I don't think he had no chance. I don't think he really deserved this opportunity. And Raven is just too OP with his KO power. I think no one beats Raven other than the Cannon, and the Cannon is kind of like a 50-50 again. Where Cannon could beat him, but Raven also could beat him. I really wanted Cannon versus Raven 2 to happen, but Raven announced that he is, I guess, retiring, which sucks badly, because he made it to my top 5 GOAT list. He's 2 title defenses. He has faced off against a lot of good guys. It would have been a good way to continue the legacy. Maybe knock out Black Larry, get a rematch with Cannon. But I guess he's retiring. I hope he comes back. I hope this is not like a last time we're seeing Raven at SlapFight Championship, because I thought this guy would have gone on to be the next Darius, go like 15 and 0, 17 and 0. But yeah, I guess he's retiring, which was kind of uneventful in a way, because I really Cannon was sizing up Raven. You could see it. He was like looking at Raven, because obviously he wants to get revenge on that loss. But yeah, now I guess we don't get a chance to see it, and he's gonna vacate the belt, I guess. And well, man, that was a hard loss. He's never been, he's been knocked down by FPS, but he's never been dominated like that. So this could be a hard loss for him to take, and I think he should take some time off and then come back. But yeah, this event, it was a good event. It was a very good event. I would say a 9.5 out of 10. No, 9 out of 10. Let's say 9 out of 10, because it didn't have the huge stackness of the card, but we got a lot of new talent. We got a lot of moments and KOs and everything. It was a cool, good, crazy card, and very enjoyable. A lot better than Heavy Hitters, and one of the best cards of the year. Thank you for watching. If you wanna stay tuned for more SlapFight content, then subscribe and turn that bell on so you can get notified about another SlapFight video that's coming up. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the card. SlapFight Championship has been on fire, and I can't wait for something next to come at Slap Fighting World. Bye bye.